While many kids around the world look forward to Santa visiting for Christmas, some places have different holiday stories. This list features some of the scariest Christmas creatures you definitely wouldn't want to meet. The elf on the shelf isn't exactly a monster, but what started as a fun Christmas tradition is now scaring some kids. The idea is that the small elf doll acts as Santa's special helper, watching kids to see if they've been naughty or nice. However, the doll's design, which some think looks like a creepy clown, is making kids feel uneasy instead of excited about Christmas. Stories online describe people setting up cameras in their homes and claiming to see the elf moving on its own, even doing things like using a toilet and flushing it. Some kids are so frightened by the elf that they can't sleep unless their parents remove it from sight. The story of Hans Trapp comes from German folklore and may be based on a real person named Hans von Trotha. Hans von Trotha was known as a very bad man and was rumored to be a Satanist. He caused trouble by fighting with his neighbors and doing other wicked things, which made Catholic Church so fed up that they banished him to live in the forest alone. While in the forest, Hans Trapp developed a terrifying hunger for human flesh. To satisfy his cravings, he dressed up like a scarecrow to trick people. One day he killed a young boy with a knife and prepared to cook and eat him. But before he could take a single bite, he was struck by lightning and died instantly. Legend says that after his death, Hans Trapp became one of Santa Claus's helpers. Instead of giving gifts, he punishes naughty children during Christmas, still dressed in his creepy scarecrow disguise. Belsnickel is a grumpy-looking man dressed in fur, completely opposite to the cheerful Santa Claus. He visits children in the days before Christmas, carrying a bag of sweets and nuts in one hand and a wooden switch in the other. To test the children, he throws the treats on the ground. If a child grabs the treats too eagerly, he might use the switch to give them a light whipping. Children are also expected to recite Bible verses or poems for Belsnickel. He gives them serious warnings to behave well before Santa arrives. The story of Belsnickel is told in countries like Germany, France, and Switzerland. In some versions of the tale, Belsnickel appears as a different character, such as an animal-like figure wearing a horned mask, or a tiny white creature that can sneak through a keyhole. In southeastern European folklore, goblins called Kallikantzaroi are said to emerge from their underground layers during the 12 days of Christmas. These days are sometimes called the unbaptized days. According to the tale, a child born during this time has a high chance of turning into a goblin as an adult. To stop this from happening, people believe certain rituals could protect the baby. For example, they would wrap the newborn in straw or garlic, or even burn the baby's toenails slightly. Another way to keep these goblins away was to place a colander outside the door. The Kallikantzaroi, unable to count higher than 2, would get distracted trying to count the holes in a colander. By the time dawn arrives, they would disappear. The Tomte in Scandinavian legend is a small creature that looks like a gnome. It protects farmers and their farms. Tomtes are usually old with long beards, and they wear farmer-style clothes. Despite their small size, they're incredibly strong. This all sounds helpful, but there's a catch. If a farmer offends a Tomte, it can become dangerous. A Tomte might get upset if a farmer changes how the farm is run or mistreats the animals. When angry, a Tomte can drive people insane or even bite them, leaving behind a poison that can be deadly. Even small mistakes like forgetting to put a spoonful of butter in a Tomte's bowl of porridge on Christmas Eve can lead to a big trouble. If this happens, the Tomte might cause disasters on a farm as punishment. Claus, also called the Anti-Claus, is known as the evil twin brother of Santa Claus. The story says that their mother gave Claude up for adoption after a fortune teller warned her that he was destined to be evil and shouldn't be raised with Santa, the good child. Following this advice, she abandoned Claude at the door of a church. There, an evil couple adopted him, but they treated him cruelly. As a result, Claude eventually killed them and began a life of violence that continues even now. When he discovered that Santa was his twin brother, his hatred grew stronger. After failing to take over Halloween, he created his own dark holiday called Dark Christmas. On Dark Christmas, which is celebrated on December 26th, Claude rides through the night in a black sleigh, pulled by hellbound and a werewolf, delivering gifts to those who are wicked. He's also known for attacking Santa's sleigh mid-flight, which creates bright bursts in the sky that look like fireworks. In 1150, according to legend, a butcher named Père Fouettard murdered 3 children. Some versions of the story say that his wife drugged the children, slit their throats and cooked them. Saint Nicholas came to the children's rescue, brought them back to life and returned them to their families. He scolded Père Fouettard for his terrible crimes and punished him by making him his helper forever. Today in Eastern France, the story goes that Père Fouettard travels with Saint Nicholas when he delivers gifts for children. He's described as having a creepy old face, a long beard, and carrying a knapsack to kidnap naughty children. He also carries a whip to punish them. A Joulupukki is a creature from Finnish folklore. Similar to a Yule god, they used to frighten children during Christmas. It has a scary, ugly face with horns and would go around demanding gifts from children. In the past, people believed they could keep Joulupukki away by praying or performing special rituals. Interestingly, in modern times, the story of Joulupukki has changed. Now it's described as a figure similar to Santa Claus. Instead of scaring children, it brings presents on Christmas Day and happily chats with them. No one knows exactly why this change happened, but both the old and new versions of the Joulupukki are still popular in Finland. In some countries like Switzerland, demons called Straggele are known to follow a creature named Frau Perchta. People leave out treats hoping to avoid punishment and to receive blessings like wealth and good health from Perchta. The Straggele often shares these goodies, but their role doesn't stop there. On Christmas Day, Perchta sometimes leaves the job of punishing naughty children to these terrifying creatures. The Straggele takes this chance to rob misbehaving kids. They don't stop at that. They grab children, fly away with them, and tear them apart while in the air. Frau Perchta is a creature that can be seen as either a witch or a beast. She has 2 faces, one for good children and one for naughty ones. If you're a good child, she rewards you by leaving silver in your shoes on the 12th day of Christmas. But if you're naughty, you better run, because Perchta punishes bad children by cutting open their stomachs, taking out their organs and filling their bodies with straw and stones. What happens to the organs after she takes them is unclear, but it's likely she uses them for a Christmas feast with the Straggele. Some stories also say that Frau Perchta can change her shape and take on any form. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!